Living in the United States, it's easy to take a lot of things for granted, like going to school or even just showing your face in public. But some places in the world, standing up for those basic rights can cost you your life. And it almost did for one young Pakistani girl named Malala Yousafzai. Her now famous story is almost unbelievable. Hotlist anchor Amy Holmes is here to tell us more.
Hey Raj, welcome back to the table.
It's always good to be here, Amy.
Good to have you.
So tell me about Malala.
It's an extraordinary story. Malala Yousafzai has been called the most famous teenager in the whole world, and it started really even more than a year ago. Malala, as an 11-year-old, became an activist for girls' education. So she started writing an anonymous blog for the BBC. And she was detailing what was happening in her town in the Swat Valley of Pakistan with the Taliban trying to take over. And the Taliban was trying to impose Sharia law, which included keeping girls from school. Well, the Taliban noticed that there was a young woman writing a blog, and they started finding out who she was and tracking her. And that's one of the most extraordinary details, actually, to me, was that the Taliban actually had a sharpshooter team, a team of assassins that for months tracked Malala's bus route, so that on October 9th, they boarded the bus, asked the girls, which one of you is Malala? Now, none of the girls spoke up or pointed to her, but their eyes very sort of naturally looked and turned to her, and one of the gunmen said, that's her, and they opened fire. Malala was shot through her face and her neck. It's been described that it was literally millimeters grazing her brain. She was that close to death. She was flown to a hospital, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham, England, and she says she woke up the next day and she didn't remember any of it happening. Her face had been shattered, her cheekbone had been shattered, all of that had to be rebuilt.
So now she's kind of a martyr that survived for this cause of education in Pakistan for young girls. What's been going on since then? Right,
so if the Taliban feared her before they shot her, they fear her even more now because she's become an international sensation, celebrity. This April, she was on the cover of Time magazine as one of the 100 most influential people in the world, and she was nominated, get this, for the 2013 Nobel Peace Prize. She was the youngest person ever nominated, and on her 16th birthday this summer, July 12th, she went to the United Nations Youth Assembly and gave her first ever public speech since the shooting back in October of 2012. Raj, I have to confess, when I listened to her speaking to the United Nations Youth Assembly, I even got choked up.
Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage was born.
I can't help but see the similarities between her story and that of Anne Frank from World War II, you know?
I know, it's impressive, these two very young girls with such extraordinary courage and intelligence living under oppression and writing about it.
I mean, Malala is so young and she's overcome more than just about anyone I've ever met. Where does she go from here?
Well, Malala has written a book, an autobiography, I Am Malala. But Malala says that she'd like to become Prime Minister of Pakistan. And even though that may seem surprising given what we've been discussing about women in Pakistan, Pakistan has had a female Prime Minister in Benazir Bhutto who was, one should add, assassinated. So it's a very dangerous, tough job, but I think we know that Malala is willing to face down danger.
She is one courageous girl.
Indeed she is. And in fact, Pakistan did ratify its first ever right of education bill because of Malala.
Wow.
And one more last thing that I came across. She recently just said that she's more afraid of ghosts than she is the Taliban.
That's awesome. Amy, thank you so much as always.
Raj, a pleasure.